Every year around the trade deadline, there are always outstanding rumors about potential players that could be traded. Well, this one rumor has something to do with the Lions, but not in the way you might think. We're going to talk about it, folks, so stay tuned.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5 end zone touchdown Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike. And as always, we're diving on in. Yes, my friends, it is that time of year once again where we are literally on the cusp of the trade deadline. Like I said in my intro, the trade deadline is when a lot of rumors get thrown out, is when a lot of stories start coming out. It's when a lot of almost damn near anything can happen, because the trade deadline is where deals are getting swung. You don't know who's potentially open for trades. You don't know who's potentially on the trade block. There's just so much that is unknown. But that unknown factor, that mystery factor, is what makes this time of year, especially in the NFL season, such a tantalizing prospect. It's what makes it so, I should say, for a lack of a better word, interesting, anxiety-inducing, but not in a sense of a bad way. It's like you're anxious to figure out if something's going to happen. Well, here's the thing, folks. Recently, I saw a rumor, I saw a report, and I saw it on Twitter, and if I can find the image, I'm going to put it up on the screen here, so that way you guys know I'm not just making this out of thin air. But a recent report has come out that the Minnesota Vikings are making a serious push to try and acquire Matthew Stafford from the Rams. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now, folks. Again, what I say about rumors is the exact same thing. It doesn't matter what it pertains to. It could be about trades, could be about drafting. I don't give a damn what it's about. But I always say the same thing with rumors. You have to take them with a grain of salt. Having said that, though, if there even is a shred of truth to this rumor, this should definitely be getting Lions fans' attention. It should definitely be getting the Lions' attention. Because let's understand what this kind of a trade would do. First and foremost, it would mean that at least for the foreseeable future, like, the next couple of years, we would be seeing Matthew Stafford twice a year in the same division. Now, that in and of itself is already a very crazy, very just ridiculous thing to contemplate, because it's like, dude, we've not had to deal with Matthew Stafford a whole lot over the last couple of years. I mean, if you think about it realistically, we've played Matthew Stafford and the Rams 3 times, and he was traded back in literally 2021. So we faced him maybe once every year or every other year if you want to start realistically looking at it. But if he were to all of a sudden go from the Rams to the Vikings, now you're facing him at least on a bare ball minimum twice a year. Because we always play our division rivals twice a year. Vikings, Bears, Packers, always. So that right there is definitely going to be something that would be an instantaneous, shake-up, if you will, of the NFC North. Because let's just call it for what it is at this point. Everybody already is looking at the NFC North as the best division in all of football right now. Every single team in the NFC North has got a winning record. Every single one. And for the most part, most teams in the NFC North have got something to hang their hat on as saying, yes, we actually are a viable team. We actually are a solid team. We actually have proven ourselves yet. The only team that I still have not bought into in that regard is the Bears, because let's just call it for what it is. The Bears haven't played anybody yet. Just because they're 4-2 doesn't mean a damn if you're playing a whole bunch of scrub-ass teams, which is in essence what the Bears have done. They really have not played anybody yet. So that's why I'm like, okay, whatever. Bears, you might have a winning record, but I'm not going to even really pay any attention to you until you start actually playing against the big boys, and let's see how you do against them. But here's what I will say. When you take a look at the NFC North in general, outside of the fact that the NFC North is considered the best division in all of football right now, it's also considered the best division in terms of quarterback play. You have to think about it, folks. I'm not one for talking about other teams' quarterbacks in a relatively positive light other than, my own. But if you literally take a look at all of the quarterbacks in the NFC North, and you take a look at how they've been performing just as passers, even Caleb Williams, which I still don't think that, he's going to be all that and what everybody wanted to talk about him prior to the season in the draft, but even for a rookie, he's doing actually rather well in terms of NFL standards. In fact, what I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to try and put the numbers up on the screen so that way you guys can all see them. I know Jared Goff's numbers are absolutely ridiculous right now. Sam Darnold's numbers, they're also pretty damn good. Same thing with Jordan Love's. My whole point is this. When you take a look at all four of the quarterbacks in the NFC North, you've got a pretty good division of quarterback play. And like I just said, it's considered the best division of football right now. But if you realistically, putting this back into the Matthew Stafford trade rumors, just imagine, folks, you bring Stafford back to the division he played in for 12 years, so he has a lot of experience playing in this division. He knows how to play the Packers, he knows how to play the Vikings, he knows how to play the Bears. Okay, now you bring him back into that. Okay, now you have completely added a whole new element to that division. That division, the NFC North, will literally start just steamrolling people. Regardless of what most people want to think about Stafford, I'm going to say this right now. Even at 36, 37 years old, that guy can still sling it. That guy still has talent. He still has a few more years of decent football left in him. And if you put him on the Minnesota Vikings team, first and foremost, I'm going to just say this right now. I don't know, again, how much truth there is to this rumor. But I can definitely say this for a fact. From a trade perspective, it would make absolute sense for both the Rams and the Vikings to do this. Number one, why would it make sense for the Rams? Let's just call it for what it is, folks. The Rams are not going to the playoffs this year. They will be lucky if they get back to 500. Their record right now is just not very good. They've got a lot of guys that are going to start coming back from injury. But in my honest opinion, it's too little too late. And realistically, the Rams are getting younger, and Stafford is only getting older. That's why, in my honest opinion, the Rams are actually entertaining moving off of guys like Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford per the rumors. Because they're like, listen, we have to start getting younger. We have to start rebuilding. We have to start getting ready for the next generation. We can't keep holding on to these guys that have these massive salary cap hits like Cooper Kupp and like Matthew Stafford. So for the Rams, it would actually make sense for them to dump for lack of a better word, dump freaking Matthew Stafford with a team that needs a quarterback or an upgraded quarterback. So that way, one, they can get some valuable draft capital to potentially finding his replacement in the next draft, but also so that way they can unload some serious cap hit, so that way they can also use that towards building towards the future. So that's where it makes sense for the Rams. Now, for the Vikings, on the other hand, where it makes sense for them is that, number one, let's just call it for what it is. Even though Sam Darnold has been playing pretty damn good this year, Matthew Stafford is like 100 times better than Sam Darnold will ever be. You all of a sudden put Matthew Stafford in that freaking Vikings offense, oh good Lord. I don't even want to think about that. Stafford with Justin Jefferson, Stafford with his old friend TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, oh, good Lord. You would be talking about one of the best offenses instantaneously overnight. You would literally have analysts literally salivating talking about that offense. That right there already makes it a good deal for the Vikings. Because realistically, their defense is great statistically. It's their offense right now that's lagging behind. So they would need something to kind of put a bit of a spark into it. Stafford would definitely do that. But here's the second reason why it would make sense. The Vikings are obviously thinking, if I were to think about this from the Vikings' perspective, if the rumor were true, they're thinking about their future in the sense that J.J. McCarthy needs a quarterback to mentor him. Sam Darnold's not going to mentor anybody. Sam Darnold's a good backup quarterback. He's a guy that you can throw in and you can let him run the show for a while. He's already proven that this year with the Vikings. But I would not want him mentoring my freaking, first-round draft pick from last year as a quarterback. No chance in hell. But Matthew Stafford? Oh yeah, I would definitely have no problem having Stafford mentor J.J. McCarthy. Say, hey, J.J., we're going to let you sit behind Stafford for a year or two, let you learn everything you can from him, and then when it's his time to go walking off into the sunset, you can take over. That would be a perfect situation for the Vikings right there. Because the Vikings would literally have a good, solid quarterback for at least 2-3 years, and then they could instantaneously hand the torch off to their next guy, and he's already set and ready to rock and roll. So for both the Vikings and the Rams, this deal, if it were to actually happen, it makes perfect sense, at least from that perspective. Now, why is this a big problem for the Lions? Well, I just literally said it, folks, but just turn it on its ear and think about it from the Lions' perspective. You bring Stafford back to this division, and you pair him up with Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You put him with Kevin O'Connell, who literally worked underneath freaking Sean McVay. Dude, that's a match made in heaven for freaking Stafford. Number one, he has a better offensive ensemble than what he currently has out in Los Angeles. Plus, on top of that, he's going to be staying in virtually the same scheme because Kevin O'Connell got his scheme from, oh, that's right, Sean McVay. And then on top of that, he'd be going from a team that has virtually no chance in getting to the playoffs to a team that's considered a potential deep playoff run candidate this year. So yeah, that would cause a massive problem for the Lions because as it stands right now, the Lions are the leaders in the NFC North. But they're only leaders by one game. That's not enough of a cushion if you want to feel comfortable in that situation. And if you all of a sudden plug Matthew Stafford into that situation, oh yeah, now you're going to start feeling some real heat. You're going to start feeling some real damn pressure. Because, hey, as much as I don't like the Packers, Jordan Love is still out there. Jordan Love still plays pretty damn good ball. You add Matthew Stafford in on top of that, now you've got a literal three-headed race towards the finish line for that NFC North title. That's why I'm saying, if I'm the Lions, again, I'm keeping this with a grain of salt because it is a rumor. It has not been authenticated. It has not been officiated yet. But I'm definitely keeping it on the back burner in my mind and going, damn, if this actually happens, we might actually be in a little bit of trouble here. Because don't get me wrong, our offense playing lights out. Defense is playing immensely better. It's actually able to play at a decently good category this year. But Stafford with that team, with that offense, yeah, that's scary. I would say that is literally, at that point now, the second scariest offense in the NFL, second to only ours. And we still have to play the Vikings one more time this year, albeit we get the best advantage of the fact that they have to come to our place now because we already went to theirs. And we've been pretty good at beating Stafford at home, just in case for whatever reason that were to happen. The last 2 times Stafford has come back to Detroit, we've beat him both times. Just saying. But again, I saw this rumor and I just literally started thinking about it. I'm like, dude, if this comes to pass, it is going to be a shakeup of absolutely epic proportions because not only would it shake up the NFC North division, makeup, it would also shake up the NFC North division race, and it would also shake up the Super Bowl race because now you put Stafford on that Vikings team, Stafford's already won a Super Bowl. Right, wrong, or indifferent how he did it, he's already won a Super Bowl. That would instantaneously put the Vikings back into a Super Bowl conversation more so than what they were to begin with. Nobody's really looking at the Vikings as being a Super Bowl contender with Sam Darnold at quarterback. But with Stafford, oh, you better damn well believe it, they'd definitely be thrown into that category. No chance in hell you would not throw them into that category if Stafford were to go there. That's why I'm saying, this trade rumor should definitely get Lions fans' ears percolated. It should definitely get them thinking. It should definitely get them wondering, because if this happens, you're going to have a whole different conversation about how the rest of this season's going to pan out. And it's going to be much more difficult for the Lions. Even if the Lions continue to win, you're still going to have difficulty because the Vikings are going to have a new weapon at quarterback much better than what they currently have. And chances are, because like I said, Kevin O'Connell, Sean McVay connection, it would be damn near virtually a seamless transition because most of the terminology would probably be the same. That's why I'm bringing this to everybody's attention here, because this is the trade deadline talk season. This is something that you definitely better be paying attention to. Because if not, this is one of those things where it could fly under the radar until it happens and then come and bite you in the ass. But Anyway, folks, I just wanted to talk about this really quickly. Having said that, I'm going to end the episode and say thank you all for watching in another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these three things: like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If by chance you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, I want to highly encourage y'all, please make sure you subscribe, but also make sure you hit that bell notification icon so that way you guys never miss any more content that I push out. Also want to encourage y'all to share the content with your Lions friends and family members. Share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you possibly can, because the more we can do that, the greater the channel has a reach, the greater the channel can spread, which allows us to bring in new content viewership. And with that, whether you guys have been with me for a long time or this is your first time viewing my content, I hope y'all enjoyed said content and you got something out of it. I hope y'all got something in your life that makes you happy, makes you, smile, and so that way you guys can have a great day. God bless, my friends, and until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.